we'll get started with the tarot reading for Tropical Cyclone 2. So, starting with the Nine of Swords reversed. Alrighty. Um, so, at first, that kind of tells me the storm's not going to get very strong. Um, that's what I'm getting. Speaks of the great inner despair that leads to an awakening. No, this storm's not going to do much awakening. Um, the character is embroiled in self-pity, denial, delusionment, and suffering. So the storm's not necessarily suffering. Um, the Nine of Swords calls for us to arouse the personality from its long-held beliefs. We are often aware that these limiting beliefs, but have refused to do anything about them. Now it's time to stop sitting in sorrow and to stop playing the victim. We can recognize our denial and face these aspects of ourselves that are limiting us. So look, okay. So this talk about breaking away from bondage, when it's not reversed. But with that being reversed, there's going to be limiting factors with Cyclone 2 that it will not be able to break away from. So with the plants and animals, we got the widow, skimmer, dragonfly, which is in the large family of dragonflies known as skimmers. Skimmers are distinguished by brightly colored bodies and wings with bands or spots. Their wings are also generally shorter than other types of dragonflies. Widow skimmers have dark bodies with yellow stripes, and their clear wings are distinctively marked with yellow, smoky color bands. They are slow-flying dragonflies that inhabit small ponds, lakes, and marshes in much of North America. So slow-moving dragonflies. So that means this storm's going to move generally slow. It ain't going to be zooming anywhere. In the Nine of Swords, the dragonfly represents our great potential for change. So the storm has the potential to do something big, but it looks like it won't. At least that's if it, yeah. Or just doesn't have much potential, considering it is reversed. And then the Belladonna is commonly known as Deadly Nightshade. Its botanical name was derived from Greek mythology. Its name was taken from one of three fates, Atropos, who cuts the thread of life, just as Deadly Nightshade would do if ingested. The leaves and berries are extremely toxic. The name Belladonna comes from Italian, and means fair lady. In the past, it was used by Italian women to make eye drops because it enlarged the pupils and made their eyes appear more beautiful. Symbolically, Belladonna represents both falsehood and the ability to recognize bitter truths. So considering it's reversed, the storm's not going to be very deadly, if any deadly forces at all exist with it. Considering reversed, the storm's not gonna necessarily be very strong. The storm's not working alone. That's what that tells me. The storm's not gonna be working alone. So there's something else in play with this one. So, and well, with the plants, we got the red-sided and blue-striped garter snakes. Garter snakes are most widely distributed reptiles in North America. They are often found near water, in marshes, meadows, wet woodlands, farms, and gardens. They have many color variations with distinctive patterns of spots or stripes. Garter snakes are docile snakes, only acting aggressively when provoked. They are not harmful to humans and are often encountered in gardens where they help with the control of pests. In the lovers, the blue-striped garter snake represents the feminine aspect, and and the energies of water and earth. Red-sided garter represents the masculine aspect and the energies of fire and air. Entwined, they represent unification of the life energies, creation, fertility, and transformation. In Eastern philosophy, snakes represent the awakened life force. Throughout history, most cultures have considered the snake as a symbol of inner power and sexuality. Because snakes shed their skin, they are also symbolic of the death and the old and birth into a new awareness and power and wisdom. Now, this has nothing to do with sexual anything, considering it's a storm. But awakened life force, that might mean something like this. Like this storm's like the pushing towards the official start of the cyclone season, even though it's just now spring in the hemisphere. So, probably another early bird storm. And we got the Chinese wisteria, which is a flowering vine plant native to China, hence the name Chinese. Well, hence having Chinese in the name. It is now the most widely grown wisteria species worldwide. Chinese wisteria produces a profusion of fragrant lavender flowers that drape from spiraling woody stems. It is a long-lived plant known to survive 100 years or more. It is therefore revered as a symbol of longevity and immortality. So despite the storm not going to be very strong, it might last. It might stick around a while. And finally, we got the thousand-petaled lotus, which is a pictorial symbol of the crown chakra, the spiritual energy center located at the top of the head. When this center is open, it is a channel for divine forces to flow into the physical being. A balanced crown chakra is a source of wisdom, oneness, mastery, and unification with divinity. Okay. Again, this does spell that this cyclone's the start of the season, basically. And yes, it's Cyclone 2 because we had Cyclone 1 in July, which is basically Hurricane Alex in 2016 forming in the Atlantic Ocean, North Atlantic Ocean, near the Azores, no less, in the month of January. So we got the star reversed. Okay. That kind of tells me that the storm's going to be a bit on the dry side. So the star emerges from water of life. So yeah, the storm's going to be encountering some dry air. And again, not going to be very strong. So we got the white tern, which is the bird here, sometimes known as the fairy tern, is breathtaking in its beauty and ethereal appearance. So that tells me the storm's going to be pretty sloppy in its appearance. Um, it is snow white with striking dark blue eyes that are surrounded by a ring of black feathers. Its long white wings enable it to fly with a grace unlike any other seabird. The white tern is native to tropical islands of the world. It is noted for laying its one egg in the fork of a tree branch, making no nest. Here the egg is incubated and the chick spends 5 days precariously perched without any visible means of protection. With grace and charm, the spirit of the white tern soars above. Okay, looks like it's one of those so you had to turn the page because it's above all of the birds. It is symbolic of peace and transcendence. So, when it's not reversed, let's talk about great confidence and vulnerability. Um, so, again, the storm is. Yeah, it's not going to get very strong. Um, okay, lost my place, but moving on. White topped pitcher plant is in this. Which is one of the most stunning of all the carnivorous plants. It is found in bogs and wetlands where the soil is acidic. Its intoxicating fragrance draws insects into its long spade. The insects then become nourishment for the plant, supplementing the nutrients it takes from the poor soil. The white-topped pitcher plant is highly endangered due to dwindling habitat. Um, but according to the Chinese, the pitcher plant is considered for collecting good luck and fortune. This is reverse. The storm's gonna be struggling. That just reiterates the storm's gonna struggle. And finally, we got the broad-leaved starflower. Um, also prefers watery habitats. Sometimes known as the western starflower or the Pacific starflower, is found in shady bogs and swamps throughout North America. It is named the starflower because its stalk is as fine as a single hair, and the flower appears to hang in the air like a tiny star. In the card, the 7 star flowers represent the 7 energy centers of the body that host the inner flame. Um. So yeah. Um. So again, that does reiterate that the storm is going to be encountering a lot of dry air, and it's not going to be very. It's going to struggle. Queen of Wands. Alrighty, Queen of Wands. Which is, well, truthful, balanced, and strong. So the models are not going to deviate much. Although the strong part, I don't think, has anything to do with this storm. Um, but yeah, this is what tells me that there's going to be not much deviation in the path, what's projected. So what's pretty much like what they're gonna say is gonna happen is gonna happen. That's basically what it tells me. Um, we got the dilemma orchid bee, also known as gold bees, are brightly colored tropical insects. They occur in tropical and subtropical regions of the Western Hemisphere, ranging from Central America to South America. There are more than 175 known species. The dilemma orchid bee is the only orchid bee that has established itself in the southern states of the U.S. As its name implies, it is sustained by orchids, collecting nectar and pollen from them. Orchid bees from the same family as honey and bumblebees, all of which are gentle nectar collecting bees, until provoked, and then they'll sting you, just like any other species of bee. In ancient Egypt, bees symbolized royalty. Um, they represent other qualities as well, such as possessing the power of concentration and a quality that is demonstrated by their attention to harvesting tasks. From there, we got the Copper Queen Orchid, one of the largest families of flowering plants with more than 20,000 species. The largest selection is found in the tropics of South and Central America and Asia. Some species, however, have even been found within the Arctic Circle. Orchids grow from tuberous roots, and they often have air roots that intertwine in the tropical forest canopy, where they climb for the light. Their most striking feature is the highly prized, exotic, and fragrant blossom they produce. Such a magnificent flower that this has been treasured and sought out by humanity. Many symbolic meanings have been cultivated around it, including beauty, strength, loyalty, and wisdom. So again, there's going to be little deviation in the pattern here. There's going to be little deviation in what's forecasted. Two of Cups reversed. Okay. Still talk about imbalance. Despite, yeah, there's not going to be a lot of balance with the storm. Like I said, the storm's gonna be pretty sloppy. And actually gone over the animals with this one in the past, I think. No, I didn't. We got roses with red and white. Um, and with that, it symbolizes the polarities of masculine and feminine. Got the Pacific tree frog, which symbolizes. I'm trying to find what it symbolizes. Um, Opening our own truth, which is the best pathway to true and lasting relationships. Again, this is just talking about balance and stuff. There's not going to be any balance with this storm. And the small mayfly lives up to 2 years in the nymph stage in underwater. And once they are grown, they rise to the surface of the water and molt into their adult form. As adults, they only live a few days. Some only live a few hours. It's during this brief, exalted maturity that they find their partner and mate. So yeah, they're not picky. Not because they don't have much time to live. So you can't really be picky if you're about to die. Um, but again, let's talk about with reverse. Not reverse. The storm's gonna be short-lived, but it's not reversed, so the storm might stick around for a while. Despite being it, but it's gonna have a bit of a pause. Um, there's gonna be some sort of stalling moment here, and I actually gone over that one, what that would mean with the last one here. But let's go to the Four of Swords and do a quick recap. If I could find it. So yeah, praying mantis um, symbolizes um, so solitary. So towards the latter part of its life, it will break away is whatever it's working with here. Um, that's what that tells me. Something it's gonna break away whatever it's working with here, and that's gonna probably start the downfall for this storm. Um, the northern red oak, which is the leaves here, um, symbolizes stability, nobility, courage, and independence. So whatever is causing it to lose balance will leave the picture, and it will get a bit more stable. And then Lily of the Valley, which is the little plants in the, I guess, the glass in between the three swords. Um, Symbolizes it lasting a while, actually. Um, but represents a return to happiness, perfect purity, and humility. So it looks like the storm's gonna go peacefully, basically. It's gonna be a quiet exit. Um, Death reversed. Now, that's an interesting one for sure. So, there's gonna be some form of but it's gonna be a surprise turn of events. It's not expected. Well, that's if it wasn't reversed. Since it's reversed, the storm's gonna be reluctant to try to change, reluctant to regrow, or anything like that. Um, so with the animals, we got common blackbird. Well, plants and animals. We got reluctant, the blackbird, um, the Eurasian blackbird, perhaps, symbol of illumination and enchantment. Um, so there's going to be, towards the latter part of its life, it's going to have a little bit more clouded judgment on where this thing is going to go. The yew tree, the European yew tree, YEW. Um, that's symbolizes transformation, death, and rebirth. So this thing might not reform once it dissipates. We got the Rosa Rambling Rector white color, which I guess is the little flower here. Um, Symbols of spiritual love, purity, humility, simplicity, and the open to higher consciousness. So it looks like something's going to be a bit more complicated later on in its life. And the common green bottlefly, um, which is this thing here. Um, it lays its eggs in the decaying carcasses of dead animals. Larvae feed and develop on the nourishment provided by the rotting tissue. Because the fly has the ability to change dead matter and waste into a valuable asset, it's a symbol of transformation. Flies also have multiple faceted vision, leading to symbolic meaning of expanded awareness. So again, there's going to be many possibilities of what the storm's going to do towards the latter part of its life. Um, there's going to be something that'll come up. So, and we got the 6, and it's going to go back to losing balance. It's gonna go back out. Oh, it's gonna become more unstable again after having the. So something's gonna happen here that'll cause the storm to become unstable once again. Um, and the animals and plants actually do reiterate that. So yeah, trying to get to the 6 pinnacles. So we got the giant silk moth, which symbolizes hard work and activity with calmness and tranquility. So, towards the latter part of its life, the storm might bring about a little bit more rough seas, or it's gonna provide turbulence in the air, more or less. Maybe a rip current threat for any nearby islands. Um, Also, speaking of flies, what are you doing here? Anyways, and we got bamboo. Again, the storm's gonna struggle. Like, throughout its entire life, it's still gonna struggle to grow. And the Pepsisawa, but yeah, bamboo symbolizes prosperity, growth, and flexibility. Um, so yeah, the storm's gonna be very fragile. And then the Pepsisawa, um, which I think is these little pink flowers here, um, symbolizes healing and money. It mostly symbolizes money. So, turbulence, it may lead to a possible plane crash. So, any pilots, you might want to avoid the area. Knight of Swords reversed. Now with that in play, this does reiterate with the Four of Swords that there's going to be a little bit of stalling. So it's going to go back and forth between stalling and moving, stalling and moving. But this storm is going to be very slow moving. That's actually what's been iterating throughout this entire thing. The storm is just continuing to be a slow mover. And that's reiterated what the Roadrunner is. It symbolizes speed, mental agility, and taking action. So again, the storm is going to be very slow. It's not going to be a very big storm either, as the cactus symbolize yeah, but the cactus symbolizes bravery, endurance. Oh, you're talking about Ian, right? This is Tropical Cyclone 2 in the Indian Ocean. But yeah, the cactus represents bravery, endurance, and grandeur. So this storm, again, is going to be very fragile. It's going to be moving pretty slowly, and it won't take much to wipe it out. But don't underestimate whatever it can do. And finally, Wheel of Fortune. So, all towards the end of its life, it's it's not going to have a huge ripple effect. Once it's out of the picture, it's out of the picture, and it's going to be easily forgotten. The wheels, everyone's going to keep on moving on after the storm is gone. Um, so, with the Orb Weevil, the Marbled Orb Reaver Spider symbolizes creativity, will, and inspiration. Um, so this will probably inspire us to look towards the Southern Hemisphere cyclone season a little bit more. Um, look for more potential storms, potentially more early bird storms. So they got the Camellia Love Light. Um, and well, it's symbol it symbolizes destiny, and it's in your own hands. So the storm's gonna meet its fate on its own time. And we got the four directions of the wheel: American carrion beetle, green mayfly, wasp, and common blue butterfly. Um, and represents the creative life forces. The carrion beetle represents earth, mayfly represents water, wasp represents fire, and butterfly represents air. These are the aspects of the evolutionary cycle of the wheel. Um, I wasn't. Well, I was expecting that someone would come in here being all Christian. I already had someone, a Karen Christian, try to threaten to throw me in prison for doing this a while ago, so it was only a matter of time. And back to the four corners of the card. So counterclockwise from bottom to left, from bottom left, wheat, dandelion, rhododendron, and orchid. The wheat is symbolic of Taurus and the element earth. Represents prosperity, riches, and fertility. Dandelion is symbolic of Leo and the element of fire. It is symbolic. It is considered prophetic. Um, like no, prophecy, like prof. Yeah, and is it symbolizes prophecy basically. It is known as the Oracle of Time. Rhodod- Rhododendron, I'm definitely never going to pronounce that right, is symbolic of Scorpio and the element of water. It represents caution and self-control. And the orchid is symbolic of Aquarius and the element air. I know, Aquarius you think is a water element, but nope, it's air for some reason. And it represents ecstasy, beauty, and magnificence. So, what that tells me is with this, Cyclone 2 is the start of what's to come with this season. This is the start of what's to come. Um, and it's gonna like plant the seeds for the next storm to form. And that's what that's telling me. This is just it's basically testing the waters for the season, is what I'm getting out of this. So yeah, again, the storm is gonna probably linger longer than originally forecasted, and it's gonna stall. It's gonna have periods where it's just gonna be slow moving, stalling, and it's gonna be very sloppy. Um, but don't underestimate it, because if you get too close, you'll hurt financially, or yeah, you'll hurt financially. So with that, that does seem to be it for right now. Stay safe out there. See you in the next video or stream. Bye.